Thornbridge Manor, the Carlyle family's home for countless generations. The Revenant Alexa Carlyle and her 3 adult children, younger brother Zachary, grandson and daughter-in-law, are all gathered to conduct Carlyle's sham funeral. Curiously, Carlyle summoned a famous London PI soon after arriving this morning, but his purpose at Thornbridge is yet unclear. Now, the target knows that you're coming, and her guard detail is top-notch. So Mr. Gray will secure their nearby field HQ and intercept all calls going in and out of the estate. Any appeal for backup is going to fall on very deaf ears. Good luck, gentlemen.
Phineas HITMAN, private investigator. I have an appointment with Madame Carlyle. Please wait.
Private area.
Mr.
Private
Whitmer,
investigator.
Madame Carlyle. Go right.
Did they call all of you in today? I've never seen so many gardeners here at the same time.
I think so. A funeral is a big event. A lot of important people will be here.
Fake funeral? It's absolutely bonkers if you ask me. Imagine the headline. Alexa Carlyle caught watching her own funeral from office window. That story would make me rich.
Don't say that. Don't even think it, Matt.
Hmm?
Beautiful.
That is Phineas Whitmer, the famous private investigator hired by Madame Carlyle this morning. I'm curious why he's here. Maybe you should do some detecting yourself, 47. A famous private investigator summoned by Alexa Carlyle has arrived at Thornbridge Manor. If you take his place, it may be an opportunity to get close to Madame Carlyle.
Greetings, sir.
What the?
Oh, you didn't see me.
This is what I need. You shut it down before you see Madame Carlyle inside.
That's a bit excessive, I think, considering the fact that I spotted no less than 2 routes to get inside the house unseen.
We know what we're doing, sir. Don't worry about that.
All the groceries around. Yeah, it's one of the delivery people.
She never misses a step. Gossiping and word burl.
Funeral tomorrow. Zachary found dead upstairs today. Death is everywhere. I never thought of it that way.
Mr. Whitmer, thank you for coming on such short notice.
Looking good.
A great
looking
tragedy
good.
has fallen upon us, and I need a quick resolution, handled with absolute discretion.
Results and discretion are my speciality.
Very well. I suppose you will want to start at the crime scene.
In my experience, a thorough examination of a potential crime scene is half the job done.
Good. Fernsby will take over from here.
I am Mr. Fernsby, the butler. Madame Carlyle has asked me to assist you in any way possible. Mr. Whitmer, I understand that you've traveled from London. Would you care for some refreshments? Or do you prefer to go straight to Mr. Zachary's sleeping quarters?
So 41 guests will attend the funeral tomorrow. There's still a lot to see to, but we're in good time, I think.
I can't deal with all this pretend funeral stuff just now. I know I have to, but Amy thinks she might be pregnant. I'm going to be a dad.
You'll be fine, Robbie. Kids are great.
Did Alice tell you what Emma did when she arrived?
What is it?
Elaine said she saw her on the top floor, stroking the door to Alexa's office. I kid you not.
I saw her rearranging the photos of the sitting room, hiding Madam in the back, and moving Montgomery to the front. She's not right in her head. Why would she do that? He died almost 50 years ago. Oh, thank God Madame Carlyle is still alive.
Mary is so upset. She's never seen a dead body before. Madam Carlyle,
Hi.
Why waste away in front of the books when he can play like that?
Oh.
There's room for everybody here, sir. Well, I could listen all day, keep bored.
Patrick.
Can I do anything for you?
Yes, actually. Could you...
Mr. Fernsby, I'm ready to see the crime scene.
Very well, Mr. Whitmer. If you'll follow me, sir.
So, how long have you been working?
about a month.
I feel obliged to point out that current affairs surrounding Madame Carlyle are of a delicate nature. You may be familiar with the recent announcement of her death. You will probably learn that a staged funeral is scheduled to take place tomorrow. Madame's children were not informed until this morning that their mother was in fact not dead at all.
Looking
So
good,
please
man.
bear with them
Looking
if they seem
good.
affected by the rather unusual situation. I trust I do not need to remind you that there will be consequences if word gets out that Madame Carlyle is still alive.
I'll consider her dead when I leave.
Before you inspect the crime scene, I will tell you this. The case concerns the death of Mr. Zachary, Madame Carlyle's younger brother. He was found dead in his bed this morning. The door was locked from the inside, and a suicide letter was found in his room. However, Madame Carlyle suspects foul play and will not accept that he took his own life. I've prepared some information for you, so please...
Let me see your hands.
Whoa!
Nice and slow, buddy. Hands behind.
Target is engaging in hand-to-hand. Shit! Take him down! Right! Somebody help me!
Madame Carlyle suspects foul play and will not accept that he took his own life. I've prepared some information for you, so please do come and see me when you've finished your investigation of the crime scene. This is Mr. Zachary's room, to my right.
A locked room murder mystery, 47. I trust you'll get to the bottom of this. Why don't you use your camera to scan the dead body, 47?
Throat markings indicate a rare, short-lived plant. And poison killed him. Spread shows time of death at around 10 o'clock last night.
You do know your poisons, 47. Zachary was shopping for new Wellingtons last night. Not exactly what you would expect from someone suicidal. Zachary's suicide note. Also, a sample of handwriting. It could be relevant to compare to other samples to establish its authenticity.
A hidden door.
It's a secret passage. This could explain how the door was locked from the inside. A photocopy of the floor plans. Somebody's been researching the secret ins and outs of Thornbridge Manor. I believe you've done a thorough search of the crime scene, 47. Maybe it's time to see the butler. I'm curious about the information he's prepared for you.
That's what it is. Making us come here to play funeral and then show up like nothing's the least bit strange.
Don't get your knickers all twisted.
I'm telling you, she's not fit to be in charge anymore. Listen, Gregory, something's off. Pruitt got word his motion was rejected. We all signed the bloody thing 4 days ago.
Oh, dear God, not this again.
So I got hold of the officer. He says it was finalized, but then how can it be withdrawn?
Just wait a few days. I'm sure it'll sort itself out. Perhaps a brisk walk in the garden would do you good.
Mr. Fernsby, I'm done with the crime scene.
Did you establish a time of death?
Zachary died around 10 o'clock last night.
Well, that means the staff were off duty. And Madame Carlyle and her security didn't arrive until this morning. That leaves Madame's family and myself as the only persons here when he died. And before you ask, no, I do not have an alibi. I was alone in my office at the time of death. Here's the material that I prepared for you. It's a list of the possible suspects and their quarters. Hopefully that will help you keep track of your findings. Please come and see me when you've solved the case, and I will take you to Madame Carlyle.
This is very useful information, 47.
said...
So how
speed
does
up
one
time,
solve a
not my
murder mystery, 47? Motive, means, and opportunity, I believe.
I'll come back later.
May I suggest you ask the suspects for alibis? Or perhaps you prefer searching the manor for clues first?
How's everything coming along, Elaine?
Very well, Mr. Fernsby.
Patrick
Make sure you
Carlyle,
focus on your work.
can you tell me
I don't
where
need
you
one more
were
maid
yesterday
crying in the
evening?
kitchen. So watch yourself
It's
around
that
you, Mr.
sneaky
Patrick.
butler, isn't
Don't
it?
worry about
He
it.
ratted me out. Elaine,
Making you wash
give
his
us some
car
privacy,
twice?
would you? Don't tell Mother, okay? She's really tense these days, and the last thing I need is more hassle. I took that pretty blonde, Rosie, for an evening stroll. I mean, how the fuck am I expected to cope for an entire weekend in this shithole? I'm bored out of my mind. So, is that it?
What did you think of Zachary?
Creepy as hell. No ambition. Imagine deciding to live in a museum. You know, Father says Zachary and Alexa used to be two of a kind. He had a great future ahead of him, then suddenly, he just gave up everything. What an idiot. Thank God Daddy chose looks and brains over pedigree when he married Mummy. I don't have to worry about the inbreeding so customary in these circles. If that's all, I think I'll get back to my slow death by boredom.
Did you see anything suspicious last night?
No. I reckon Zachary topped himself. I know I would have. Or perhaps Mr. Fernsby. I don't like him. He could have done it. Just remembered I went for a stroll behind the greenhouse last night. Maybe that's where it is.
What is?
My lost button. The one you couldn't find at the graveyard. Wouldn't it be a good idea for you to go and look for it?
Now? Good idea.
Phil, did you find out if the vote was notarized? But how the hell did that happen? Nope, we all signed it. I gave it to him in person. He says he got it notarized the very same day.
Okay.
Easy now, mister. Take it slow.
Tell me if you want to see the records. Don't take no for an answer. And call me as soon as you've got them. Thanks, Phil. We'll get to the bottom of it.
Rebecca Carlyle, can you tell me about yesterday evening?
We don't really see much of each other, my brothers and I. I suppose it takes our mother's funeral to bring us together, and even then, it's not like we sit on each other's laps. Now, let's see. Patrick, Gregory's son, disappeared straight after dinner. You know, I think he might be in some sort of trouble. Edward wanted to go as well, but Gregory convinced him to stay for a few drinks before they went off for a pint at the local at 9:15. I swear Gregory enjoys Edward's discomfort over staying here. I had a conference call with my New York office at 9, so I spent 3 hours on my laptop in my room and went straight to bed afterwards. I don't know about Emma. She did act a bit strange. You know, I bet she was making lists for changes needing to be done once she gets her hands on Thornbridge Manor. Quite the shock she had when Mother arrived during breakfast. Is there anything else you want to ask me?
Tell me about Zachary. Did he act strange last night?
You know, now you mention it, he was a lot more chatty than usual. He wanted to know about my connections in the publishing business. Apparently, a friend of his is writing a book, which strikes me as very peculiar. I didn't think he had any friends. Is that everything, Mr. Whitmer?
Anything else you feel like mentioning?
I may be wrong, but I saw Mr. Fernsby, the butler, leave Zachary's room early this afternoon. And he seemed a bit startled when he saw me in the hallway. It's probably nothing. Oh, and one more thing. Please be kind to Edward. He can only take so much. Is there anything else you want to ask me?
And that solicitor upstairs. Why do you think he's here?
I think solicitors are Mother's favorite kind of people. Can't remember ever having a family event without one tucked away in a room somewhere. Due diligence always trumped the family.
I think he's here to cut us from her will.
Very ridiculous. Imagine the scandal if the firstborn son didn't pick up the torch. That will never happen.
Gregory Carlyle, can you tell me where you were yesterday evening?
Oh, you're wondering about my alibi, Mr. Detective. Well, I left Thornbridge around 8:30 for a pint with Edward. I wish I hadn't. Quiz night at the inn. On the other hand, staying here with Zachary, my obnoxious sister, and the wife sporting another one of her headaches would have been a fate worse than death. The short of it, Zachary was very much alive when we left. I stayed for the last shout, and I was back here just before midnight. Anything else you want to pry from my intricate intellect?
Tell me about Zachary.
Zach? Huh. Such a sad old sod. A bit heavy on the bottle, but who could blame him? Only company he had was his rare plants and Mother, who travels more than she stays here. Honestly, I can't say which is the bigger bore. He's better off dead. Is that all? Not very thorough.
Anything else you'd like to tell me?
Nothing, really. I'm just enjoying the show. Our perfect mother obviously fucked up, didn't she? Faking her own death. You know, she's explained nothing to us. I think she's scared to own up to her own mistake.
Emma Carlyle, can you tell me where you were yesterday evening?
Surely I'm not a suspect.
I need to account for everyone.
Well, I spent the evening with my family, but I got an awful migraine and had to take to bed. Everyone can attest to that. I believe I went up when the boys sat down for a drink around 8 o'clock. Anything else you want to know?
How did you feel about Zachary?
I might as well be honest. His presence was always awkward. But how do you have a meaningful conversation with a man who only cares about plants? In my opinion, Alexa bears some responsibility for how this ended. She supported his self-limiting behavior by letting him live here. Is that all?
Have you noticed anything else out of the ordinary?
Nothing special comes to mind. Except, perhaps, I did get a feeling that Zachary was depressed, not just sad. I suppose he realized that he had no one with Alexa gone. Even Alexa must feel the pangs of guilt over that one, letting him believe she was dead. Then again, guilt isn't her strong suit.
You always led by example rather than by words and meaningless gestures.
Professor Edward Carlyle, can you tell me your whereabouts for last night?
Oh, yes, this dreadful business with Zachary. I stay at the local inn. You see, I prefer not to spend the night here at Thornbridge Manor. My brother Gregory came along for a nightcap. He'd never admit it, but I think he understands that I find this whole thing upsetting and wanted to provide some comfort. I believe we went to the Stag's Head around 8:30. Anything else I can do to help?
Can you tell me about Zachary's behavior last night?
I certainly didn't expect him to commit suicide. Sure, he was upset by Mother's supposed death. We were. But he seemed more engaged than usual. You should ask Rebecca. They had a long talk. Did you know that he hadn't left Thornbridge Manor in nearly 50 years? His plants, Mother, and the staff were all the company he had. If that's all, I have a speech to write.
Did you notice anything else out of the ordinary?
do you mean apart from the fact that we came here to bury our mother and she shows up alive and kicking? Zachary found dead in his bed this morning? Or perhaps that the planned funeral is still taking place and I have to do the eulogy? And Mother will surely have a strong opinion on it afterwards. I can't breathe. Excuse me. Like hugs and encouragement. Just a single spontaneous caress. What a difference that would make. Right.
I need to stop thinking about Emma all the time, but she just makes me so angry. Tell me. She turned up and demanded to be put up in Madame Carl's
Rosie,
bedroom.
tell me what you did last night.
I'm in trouble, aren't I?
Family after all. It is only fitting.
I spent the evening with Patrick. We met after dinner and I went home at 1 in the morning. He said he needed someone real to talk to. When he looks at you,
Would
it
you
makes you
mind
feel like
taking
the
a few
center
steps
of the
away from me,
universe.
please?
Like a real princess.
But now he just ignores her.
Well, he's under a lot of pressure.
He's an idiot. That's what he is.
Did you notice anything out of the ordinary? Any strangers outside the house?
No, we saw no one outside. Except Patrick's mother, Emma. We were sitting on the bench behind the greenhouse talking when she came out and we had to hide. You won't tell her about me and Patrick, will you? She'd insist Madame Carlyle fire me. I'm sure of it.
Too right she will. She's always going on about how things will change once she's in charge of Thornbridge Manor.
How are things coming along inside? Is everything ready for tomorrow?
I'm getting a headache from all the decisions. I mean, pram or stroller, comforter or not. Should I ask her to marry me? What if she says no? And then this big funeral thing tomorrow.
That is the door to Mr. Fernsby's office.
What's up?
What did he believe? With a handsome face like that, I bet he's worked with a lot of high-profile
That door leads to Emma and Gregory's room.
I bet he's stringing all the girls along like that anyway.
That's why would someone like that want to put the rest of their life on hold to get involved with some itinerant nobody like me?
Yo, Anne, what's
What's up? Relax, man. I said it'd get you money. It's just gonna take a little.
That American lawyer in the small office, did you check his travel documents?
I did, sir. It all checked out.
That is the door to Rebecca's room.
Yeah, I can't let you pass. I'm sorry, sir.
How are you?
Aaron Ford Jr. calling from Morgan, Yates & Cohn. I need to get a listing of asset transfers from the Carlisle account HTC depot number 5085. God! No, I need it immediately. Yes, I'll hold. Yes, I'm still here. It doesn't exist. What do you mean it doesn't exist? Right. I'll double check and get back to you. I can see from the log that Rebecca was in a conference call from 9 p.m. to midnight last night.
I don't think my readers care much about pictures of this bit.
A keychain pendant for the greenhouse. What's that doing in Emma? And Gregory's room, I wonder. And why is the key missing? Now this is interesting, 47. A letter from Emma's mother stating that Emma is the illegitimate child of Alexa's late older brother, Montgomery. And listen to this. She claims to have witnessed Alexa and Zachary murder him. The plot thickens.
love with someone you were hired to protect?
I actually...
Put a pin in it.
Yeah, I should let
Sorry.
you go.
Look at me getting all giddy.
Hello there, sir.
So I think,
I'm quite happy here, thanks.
An old letter. 47. Never opened. Must have slid under the secret door nearly 46 years ago. It states that Alexa Carlyle's older brother, Montgomery, wanted Alexa to become the heir to the Carlyle Empire instead of himself. Interesting. You're an excellent detective, 47. Uncovering truths half a century old. If you frame it correctly, I believe you could use the information to convince Madame Carlyle that Zachary committed suicide. Maybe you should ask Mr. Fernsby to see her. Or perhaps you feel like digging a bit more.
did you give the Fitzpatrick token to Madame Carlyle's daughter?
Rebecca? Yes. She's insistent, that one. She kept asking all kinds of questions. Who had the other one? Why I gave it to her, that sort of thing. You did make sure she didn't see you give the other one to the butler?
Oh, of course.
right there! Let the body go! Eat this, you bap! He's hiding in there! Inside!
Gotta shoot him, what's the thing?
Give him all you got!
Man!
It states that Alexa Carlyle's older brother, Montgomery, wanted Alexa to become the heir to the Carlyle Empire instead of himself. Interesting. You're an excellent detective, 47. Uncovering truths half a century old. If you frame it correctly, I believe you could use the information to convince Madame Carlyle that Zachary committed suicide.
Patrick token to Madame Carlyle's
Maybe
daughter.
you should ask
Rebecca?
Mr. Fernsby
Yeah.
to see her.
She's insistent
Or
that
perhaps
one.
you feel like
She
digging a
kept
bit
asking
more.
all kinds of questions. Who had the other one? Why I gave it to her, that sort of thing. You did make sure she didn't see you give the other one to the butler?
Oh, of course.
Excuse me, sir. I think that belongs to you. You are way too close to me and you're really freaking me out. Can you just leave me, please?